Hello everybody and welcome to this video. If you're new here, hi, my name is Luna and welcome to Luna's bookshelf. So in today's video, as you can see by looking at the title, I'm going to talk about I'm going to grab it real quick, about my book journal. I started doing this in 2024 in the beginning of the year because I saw Sarah Caroli and I think I also saw Haley Pham and Destiny Sidwell do it, and I was inspired by them because I thought, whoa, how fun is it to log all your books in a creative way and not only just on Goodreads or on other platforms. So I thought, let's start a book journal. At first, I was a bit hesitant because I thought I was not going to be creative enough, but once I was going and doing it, I found all fun ways to fill this book in. And that's what I'm going to show you guys. So I'm going to let you see my 2024 part, and I'm going to show you also the new part I started for the next year, 2025. So I would say let's get started because we got quite a lot of things to look at. So here we are. I'm going to show you guys my reading journal from the inside. First up, I hope the audio quality is good. I'm holding my little microphone. I was having a little bit difficulties to film this because I didn't know really what the best way was. So I hope this will be very good for you guys to see. And otherwise, I'm sorry. So the journal you can see, I have like this light purple journal. I got it from Liditz in Antwerp, this bookstore, and it's from the brand Electrum. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. So this is a bullet journal. It has just bullets in it. It doesn't have lines, obviously, so that says the name itself. So let's get into it. So at first you can see I wrote like Luna's reading journal with like stickers, but it kind of failed because the stickers are rubbing off, but you know what, I tried my best. Then the first page is just a contact page, so I put a picture of myself in front of the Shakespeare and Company bookstore in Paris, and then beneath it, under it, I put some contact information I'm not going to show you guys. So then the next page is a content page, so I could say at what page you can find what, but I stopped doing it until August, so I have to update it a little bit. Then here you can see my starting page for Luna's Reading Journal 2024. I put two pictures in it. This picture is a picture I took myself in Amsterdam from the Waterstones bookstore, and this is a picture I just got from Pinterest. Then next, first up is my rating system. I explain what star each means to me, so very easily. I don't know, I just saw people doing it and thought, why not do it too? And this is a key for what color means what star rating it is. And then on this page you see my reading goals for 2024. So cute, but not much. Then on the next page I put 12 books I wanted to read in 2024. So I just drew the books and put the titles in it, and every time I finish one of these 12 books I colored it in, and I read 8 out of the 12 books in 2024 I wanted to read, so I think I did a great job doing it. So here on this page you see my little bookshelf, but you see I didn't finish it because I was getting bored and I couldn't put all of the books I read because these are like 30 books I think, or a little bit more, and I read 70 books. So yeah, definitely didn't redo this in my 2025 journal. Well, this is the same journal, but you know. Then on this page you see a graph of all the months, and then on the side you see the numbers of books I read, so I could have a little overview. Then onto the next page. This is kind of a filled page because I also put books here I already read. I don't know why I did this because the only book I read 2024 is actually Happy Place, but it was a reread and I read it after I put it here, and that's actually Checkmate. So kind of a fail page, but you know what? I was just starting and sometimes you can make mistakes. So until the first month, and as January, I chose for a theme. Every month I chose a different color theme, so I thought it would be fun. So first up, I chose January, and I was going with the green theme. I put like the month here, and then always the TBR next to it. as you can see. Then after it, I put all the books I read in January. So I read 4 books. Yes, I think 4 books. And then I put a picture of the books, a little rating, and then a little review, and then some quotes. I didn't do quotes for these 2 books because I kind of forgot. Then next, I got this series tracker. I failed using it because I just kind of forgot I had it. Oops. Yeah, so now there are coming some pages I forgot to put before January spreads. So my mistake. So now we have 1 book for every month. So every month I picked my favorite book, and this is a little overview. I think it looks pretty cute. So first off, we have Checkmate, The Assassin's Blade, Crown of Midnight, Queen of Shadows, Listen for the Lie, Funny Story, The Bodyguard, The 7 Year Slip, Caravel, Nothing Like the Movies, A Love Redesigned, and Kleine Glückjes. I think this looks pretty cute, and it has a fun overview to see which book you liked every month the most. And then here I have my reading bucket list. I saw a lot of people doing it. So each square is something I book related. So like a reread, start a new series, a non-fiction book. These are all different colors for covers. And every time a book related to one of these, I colored it in. And I also have like this little paper that says which book stands for which square. So I know. Then here we have my monthly statistics. Um, well, one thing about it was a page count, because I took always the page count from Storygraph, but it didn't always add up because sometimes I forgot to log my reading and where I got in a book, and it was already next month, so it didn't really was correct, but I still love it, and definitely doing this in the next year. Love to see how many books I bought this year. That were last year, there were a lot, but you know what? That's okay. Then now going back to the months, and the first half of February, I really love. I think this is one of my favorite spreads with like the letter here, and it's just so cute. So here my TBR, and I always check off the books I read from my TBR. Then we have the books I read with a little. Here I also added how long I read it, and then the book covers and a little review. Then onto March. I really love doing this. It's really got to my creativity, and I think I did a good job doing it. So yeah, really love this. As you can see, I read all of my TBR books for March, so I did a great job here. All of the spreads are, I take inspiration from Pinterest, so I don't make them myself. Then here we have the March reads. I read quite a lot of books in March, as you can see. Then my April spread, also one of my favorites, because mostly this one, but with the April and then the disco balls, it's so cute. Then my TBR. And then the books I read, I only read 2 books in April, so I read a little bit of a longer review because I had the place for it. Then I added this little tandem, Empire Storms and Tower of Dawn. I thought it would be fun. I also have this one. You can find it online. But I thought it would be fun to also put it in my journal. And it was an intense journey. Then going to May, you see where my exams are, because here it is getting a little bit more busy, so I didn't put a lot of books on my TBR as well. Then the books I read, again with a review, a picture of it. Sometimes I also add like this more fun thing to add a little bit of depth into it. Then I added my summer TBR. I thought it would be fun. I added these little bows. I think it's so cute. And I organized it by genres. I have fantasy, romance, and other genres. And I also colored it in when I read one. I also think that's so cute. I love it. Then we have June. So I only read 2 books. I didn't put a TBR for this because it was the month I had exams. And I didn't want to put myself on pressure, give myself pressure to reading books. I did it in January, but that's okay. But yeah, I was only reading, trying to finish Embroidered Psalms or Tower of Dawn. So yeah. I also forgot, I also read these 2 books, Wildfire and Live French Love. So a little review of them. Then at this page, I added some of my thumbnails. I started my YouTube channel in June. So my first videos I made and the thumbnails of it. Then here's some other books I read in June. These ones I read after making these spreads because I read them at the end of the month. Then here I made a little page dedicated to funny story with some pictures that related to the book and a quote I loved from the book. Then for July, this was a very simple. I was not in the mood to put a lot of effort in it because since I read a lot of books in the month. So yeah, I just put the book cover on the page and then the rating underneath it. I did the same thing for August, just August page, and then also I didn't do like the TBR because I really wasn't in the mood to do a TBR. I made this out, as you can see, it's not exactly going good. So I made this little spread for the 7-year slip with some pictures, and I was going to do it for Firefly Lane, but I still haven't done it. Oops. Then I made a new spread with some videos with the thumbnail and then the date I posted the video. And now going to the fall season with my fall TBR. I thought it would be fun to just put the pictures of the books I want to read in the fall and put them like a little bit more in the categories. So you see the fantasy, the thrillers, more literary fiction, the romance books, and like paranormal romance. Then we have September. I draw some little cute doodles, and here this from a video I chose my TBR. My TBR was chosen by prompts, and I wrote the prompt, and then I wrote the book behind it. And here you can see all of the September reads. Then next we have my October TBR, and I did the same thing here with the book prompts and then the book that went with it. And then here just the books I read, and also just at some point I stopped doing like writing a whole review because I just didn't feel like it was useful. So yeah, I just wrote the rating. Then we have November. This was really sober. And here I did write a little review, but just one sentence. Only didn't do it for A Man Called Ova. And then we have the last one of 2024, and that's December, very sober. We're not going to remember this page. I really dislike it, but that's okay. And then the books I read with just a rating underneath it. And now we're going to go into 2025, and I'm already obsessed with the spreads I made so far, so can't wait. So first up, I made this welcome page 2025 in books, and I draw some cute bows. And then I have first up, I have my goals here. I think it would be fun, and I'm able to check off every time once I finish a goal. Then here I put some releases I'm looking forward to. I forgot one, and that's Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. I did print the book out, but I just completely forgot to put it on the page. So yeah, little mistake that can happen. So yeah, these are all the releases I'm looking forward to. And then here we have again one book every month. So I wrote like every month in it, and then I can put every time a book to go with each month. And maybe I'm not sure, maybe I'm going to draw like something around it to make it a little bit more rhythmic. But I really like this page. It looks pretty cool with the red and how the letters look. So yeah, pretty proud. Then we have my yearly statistics. So as you can see, it's a little bit different from the statistics of 2024. I only have like physical books, ebooks, audio books, books I bought, the DNFs, and 5 stars. So I didn't count the the pages because it's a little bit hard to do. And then here we have the books I read, so the same page I had for 2024, but I want to do it again, and now it goes up till 30. And then instead of doing like a bucket list, like the bingo, I made like the reading challenge. So these are all different reading challenges, and once I finish a book that's related to it, I can check it off and I can write the book beneath it, next to it. So I have like Set in a Small Town, about witches, 500 plus pages, a reread, finish series, Enemy Still Lovers, blind date book, 5-star book, a Dutch book, a classic, a one-word title, a memoir set in New York City, a thriller, a historical fiction, a love triangle, a new series, a new favorite author, a retelling, and a spicy romance. Then we have the A to Z challenge. So every time I read a book and I can see which letter it starts with, and I can write. I saw Rachel Catherine and I think also Sarah Crowley doing it, so I thought it would be fun to do this as well. And then we here have my 25 books in 2025. You know, I had a whole other idea to do this page, but it kind of sucked because I couldn't draw good books. So I just like, you know what, going to draw these shapes and put the books in it. And every time I finish a book that's on this list, I just color in the place where the book is. And then onto the last page, not the last pages of I have so far. The first one is my DNF graveyard. I saw a TikTok of someone who also added this to their book journal, and I don't have it yet because I just want to see how many DNFs I have. But I'm always going to draw like a tombstone and then write the title of the book in it. Let's hope I don't have too many DNFs in 2025, but you never know. And then here I have just like the let's start. You don't really see it, I think, the camera, but I just wrote let's start. And then after this, I'm going to start with January, and then here my January TBR, but I haven't gotten to that, but we'll be trying that soon. So yeah, that was my reading journal. So yeah, that was my reading journal. I hope you guys liked it, and maybe you could take some inspiration from the pages I made in my reading journal to your own reading journal. And if you're a little bit scared because you're not too creative as you think, I thought that as well, but I really enjoy doing it and I love it. It's like my little free time, creative time to do with reading, but not reading. So, you know, I really recommend reading it. Reading. I really recommend doing it because it's just such a fun thing and activity to do in your free time. So, yeah. So, I hope you like doing it. Let me know in the comments if you do have a reading journal and if you also love doing it and what your favorite spread is of 2025 so far, or your favorite spread of the previous year. So yeah, thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye.